Hello everyone, my name is Anya Hawkins, welcome to my project vlog. Many knitters will tell you that knitting and collecting yarn for knitting are two completely separate hobbies. It is also true for me. But my collecting yarn hobby looks a little bit different. I'm not buying my yarn, I'm getting it by unraveling commercially knit things, sweaters and such. It is time consuming, but the expenses are so low and the process is so fun and satisfying for me that I don't see myself ever going back to just buying yarn in a store. So let me show you this whole process from start to finish. What I'm buying, how I'm getting the yarn from it, how I'm preparing it for knitting, and also what I do if something goes wrong in the process. Let me show you what I got this time, and I will give you my thoughts on each thing. Maybe this time I will not forget to tell you about yarn content also, and after that I will show you how I turn all of it into yarn using these things. I'm processing previous haul there, so let me back you up a little and then I will try everything on. First thing that I got, it is this little cute cardigan, very summery thing. So what I think about it? It is a very cute piece. It is very interesting color. All possible variations of yellow I always like. I collect them in my stash because it is a color that you can find in nature, and I often inspired by nature when I'm doing color work. So even though this is not a lot of yarn, it is quite small size, I consider this a find because I don't have this shade in my stash yet. Let's see if the label is intact. Acrylic cotton blend. As I said, pretty summery. Another cardigan, another nature-like color. This is also one of the colors that I always collect because I love doing color work and I love incorporating green in color work, though I'm not a fan of green things all over. This is quite long, almost to the middle of my thigh, has a lot of positive ease, which means that I will get a lot of yarn from it. It's one of those cardigans without fastenings that people tend to wrap themselves in. Again, not something that I would wear myself personally. Yarn content. There is no label. When the thing doesn't have a label, in my stash catalog I mark that yarn content is not available, and since it's a manufactured thing that survived my vigorous washing of it in a washing machine and didn't shrink, didn't felt, didn't deform in any way, I think that it is a wool synthetic blend. There is just no way for me to know for sure how much of each fiber is present in this fabric. Another cardigan with pockets and without buttons. This one is very nice. I like it a lot. I like that those balloon sleeves are combined with quite narrow and long cuffs. I always think that balloon sleeves are not very practical and they're not very comfortable, at least for me, but those ones I like very much. The cuffs making all the difference. It is brioche stitch, it's very fluffy and squishy and it's very pleasant to the touch. What is it? Made in Italy. It's acrylic alpaca blend. It's very warm and comfortable. Pretty clever construction. The weight of all the cardigan rests in this spot, but it's not uncomfortable. It drapes across my shoulders very nicely. And I love those pockets. There is no finishing on this edge. The pocket is allowed to just curl onto itself. It's stockinette stitch, and when it curls it shows reverse stockinette stitch, and the inside of the pocket is in reverse stockinette, and it's not sewn in place, it's just double knitting. So this pocket looks very nice from both sides, from here and from inside also. When I encounter in a thing that I'm going to unravel some clever construction like this pocket, I photograph such details and put them in special inspirational folder where I collect such tidbits for future use. because this construction of pocket I really like and I want to remember it. I love how it looks on me, I love how it feels. It is also one of those cardigans that you should wrap around yourself, but I know that I would never wear it in day-to-day life just because it is so loose and flowy. Like, it's a good thing to just sit around in, but I tend to move about a lot, so with my lifestyle this thing will just collect dust in my closet. So it would be better to unravel it and to give it a second life as a yarn. It is a knitted dress. I already checked, there is no label with yarn content, but I recognize this manufacturer, and just in last Thrift Haul, if you saw my previous video about it, I got a cardigan dress with very similar stitch patterns in different color, but it's the same manufacturer. The yarn is of the same weight and of the same construction, and it feels just like that yarn. That yarn was merino alpaca blend, and I think that this is also merino alpaca blend, though I have no opportunity to make sure. It is very warm, it is a lot of yarn. I will unravel it because I don't wear knitted dresses. I love how those sleeves look. I don't remember how they are called, but I don't wear sleeves like that. For me it's just not practical. I like them folded back. It's almost a shame to unravel such cute dress. But again, if I know that I'm not going to wear the thing, it's a shame to just leave it lying around. Because as a yarn it will get used eventually, but as a dress it will be just collecting dust. This is so bright that on my camera monitor I can't even see it. It's just a blob of neon glow. In real life, it's not so bright. It's kind of a coral red, and I got it because I loved this color. And it's so silky. It is so big on me that the neck opening is sliding down my shoulders. Anyways, it was a risk that I took when I bought this one, because it is a novelty yarn that will be a pain to unravel. I know that because I tried it before. I don't know how this type of yarn called. I always called it grass. The label was removed by someone, but I know that this type of grass novelty yarn is usually made of nylon. Do you see how fluffy it is? I bought such items twice before, and one time it unraveled. Well, it was a pain, but it unraveled. First time it was white grass, very pretty. The second time it was light blue grass. I wanted it in my collection, but it just didn't want to unravel. There was something weird with the edges. There was something like I-cord finishing, but it wasn't made separately. Or at the end of every row, in each detail, the yarn wrapped around itself so weirdly that it wasn't possible to untangle. I like to collect novelty yarns. I was very tempted by this silky smooth feeling, and I was tempted by this coral red color. It's just very beautiful. So I was collecting different novelty yarns for several years now, and I have a plan for them all. I want to make just crazy intarsia sweater where I would use a lot of such yarns. The sweater itself will be probably black, and there would be some kind of geometric shapes probably, and each color block I envision that it's not only would be some bright color, it would be some bright color together with novelty yarn. Like in this color block there would be grass like that. In another it will be boucle. In yet another it would be sparkles, lurex or sequins, and all of that would be thrown into one project, and the brighter the color, the crazier the yarn, the better. Probably to some it would sound like the ugliest sweater idea possible, but I think that it would be beautiful and it would be very fun to knit. I know that such sweaters were popular in late 80s, maybe early 90s, but I'm not old enough to experience them myself, so to me they don't look dated. To me they just look very fun, as well as those oversized sweaters with giant shoulders. Someday I will need something like that too. So this is the colors that I got this time. I'm very excited to unravel them. I'm also excited to use those yarns, of course, but I don't know when it will happen, because I have an enormous stash of yarn. But the thing is, about unraveling, to me it is as much fun as knitting. In the end, I will not get garment, but I will get new yarn, which is also very exciting to me. So keep watching if you want to know how much yarn I will get from all of it, and if you're as curious as myself if this thing will unravel at all. It's been a while since I filmed last. There is a blizzard raging outside and I cannot do anything outside, or I cannot go anywhere. So it's a perfect day to unravel all of those things and get myself some new pretty yarn. So my process is this. I took all of my things and I disassembled them. They're completely in pieces, and I started unraveling until there's easy going, and I did it for all of them. And these little balls are seam threads and little bits and pieces. I never throw them out. Eventually I will use them in some scrappy project. Like, for example, I don't remember the name of the technique and if I even knew it, but I would like to make a project someday when you use some one colored yarn, like white for example, and you just add there little like these long scraps of colorful yarns, and they are of different texture and different weights and different colors, and all together it blends into this very interesting fabric. Also, this sweater that I'm wearing right now is not made by me. It is one of the things that I got in second hand. I wanted to unravel it because this is very soft and pretty boucle yarn. I like it very much, but the sweater itself is just so comfortable and is in my size that in the end I didn't unravel it and just wear it all the time. By the way, it's not beer, it's kvass. Homemade by me. So anyways, all of these are ready to be unraveled. They're prepared, and now I can spend nice evening probably watching a movie and making my yarn donuts, because the part that is left is the most pleasurable. I can do it without looking, I can do it in the dark. It's actually quite fun and relaxing process to unravel knitting. When it's not your knitting you're unraveling, it's actually very meditative process. But there is one thing that I wanted to share with you that sucks, and it is this sweater. You remember I was having my doubts whether I would be able to unravel it or not, and it is just as I was afraid. I spent probably an hour trying to untangle everything. I knew it. It is the last time that I fell for this silky texture and this hairiness. And this yarn would have been so pretty. So this thing, it is made in quite a common way. I encountered this technique many times, and actually I have a sweater right here that is made the same way. Some commercial knitting machines work with 2 threads. It's not just the yarn held double. It's 2 separate lines and they are chasing each other, and you cannot unravel further until you go to the corner, and then they pivot around each other, and only then you can go to the other end with one yarn and then with another yarn, and then they again pivot around each other and so on. So when I'm encountering this construction, I am forced to make 2 balls of yarn at the same time, which is not as comfortable as making one, but it's fine. And this thing, and I checked all parts, are made the same way. There's 2 double threads, and on these corners they pivot around each other, but because of this hairiness I cannot see what is going on, and no matter how hard I tried, I cannot separate them without breaking one of the threads. And I don't need 500 grams of pieces that are this long. I will never knit with them. So it's not yarn, it's fabric. It's very hairy, knitted fabric. And what should I do with it? I will tell you what I will not do with it. I will not throw it away. I am not in a habit of wasting materials, and here's enough fabric to do something with it. Also, I have a rule of not keeping in storage things that I don't have plans for. I should either use it immediately or I should have at least some plans for it. If I just take something like that and put it in storage, I will forget that it exists. So I'm putting this fabric out of my mind for now, but when I will come up with something to do with it, I will update you. And now I will spend a quiet evening unraveling all of those other sweaters and probably watching something appropriate for a blizzard that is going on outside. Yeah.
So how do we know who's human? If I was an imitation, a perfect imitation, how would you know if it was really me?
A real quick update. Yesterday I managed to unravel only 2 of my things, because this light cardigan took me way longer than I expected because of this 2 threads at a time business. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. I have a wonderful idea what I'm going to do with this cursed fabric. I'm going to do some interior design with it. I'm going to make a cover for this chair. But only for the seat, because the seat and the back together will be too much. But that's not all. I will have enough to do this chair also. And for this one I will do the seat and the back. And then they will be matching, because right now it's light gray on white and dark gray on black, and they don't match and it bothers me. But that's what I have. And even that is not everything. I also have this footstool that is secretly a chest. And I think that I have enough to make a cover for it also. And then I will have a set. All those covers I plan to do removable, because this is quite bright color and I may tire of it pretty fast. And even if I won't, I don't think that this hairy fabric will last long, but it will probably look good for a couple of months at least. It will look okayish for another couple of months, and that is quite enough usefulness out of this fabric that I will get. I'm happy with that decision. It is bright, it goes well with other things in this room. So what do you think of this plan? I think it's pretty neat. It's nice to have a plan. So next time I'll see you, I will be steaming my yarn to straighten it out, and hopefully I will be sitting on a new furniture. And while the yarn is drying, let's work on those furniture covers. I started from the easiest one. The back panel of the sweater was perfect for this. I folded back the edges and stitched them by hand. Then I put inside an elastic band. And as tempting as it was to wear it as a beret, as a chair cover it worked even better. Then it was a turn for footstool/chest thingy. For it I used one of the sleeves. Again, it was a perfect fit. I realized that my remodel wouldn't work if I leave the legs white, so I painted them black. I like to paint smooth surfaces with foam roller. It leaves a nice, even texture, much better than the paintbrush. And while the paint was drying, I stitched the front panel of the sweater to the seat. There was more than enough fabric for it. And the last piece, second sleeve, was just enough to do the back of the chair. In the end, I was very satisfied with the result. Instead of a swift, I use a pillow on a swivel clasp. Then I feed the yarn through mechanical counter. And then I wind my center pull balls by hand. I tried using ball winder and I didn't like it. Never could get the right tension, while my handmade balls preserve the yarn in its fluffiest state. After weighing my balls on a kitchen scale and using the measurement from my counter, I can calculate how many meters is in 100 grams of any given yarn. I usually deal with 1 yarn a day. So at the end of the day, what did I get from all this process? I got 4 beautiful yarns, and from the sweater that didn't want to unravel, I got new furniture covers. Let's talk about furniture first. I couldn't be happier with the result. I am especially glad that I painted the legs of this chair that I'm sitting on right now. You can see it, it's down below. I painted them black, and it was a brilliant idea on my part, if I say so myself, because those white legs were low-key annoying me this whole time. For years they were annoying me, but I didn't notice it until I started sewing up my covers, and when I put this red fabric on this chair with white legs, it looked awful. But thankfully I have a lot of black paint left over from painting the walls of my office, and now all the things that I put those red fluffy covers on, they look like it is a set. It's not just random pieces of furniture, there's some thought behind it, and I like it very much. It just shows that you never know what would work and why and how, you just cannot predict it, and even some misfortune, like I wanted to get yarn but I couldn't unravel the sweater, can turn into a very good thing, as it happened this time. And actually I like those unexpected turns that you get sometimes when you're doing something creative, because in the end it will often work out even more interesting than you imagined to yourself. And now let's talk about yarn. Last thing that I do with my yarn is I put all of it into cloth bags. Here they are. I make those bags from various leftovers and scraps of fabric. Knit fabric is especially good for it because it's stretchy, and such bag can contain a lot of yarn. And before putting it into storage, I will take a little bit of this yarn to tie this bag with it, so I can instantly tell what is inside. Also, in each bag I put a little piece of soap. It helps to keep the yarn fresh, because who knows, it can be in the storage for years before I start knitting with it, and I don't want my yarn to start smelling musty. So my stash of yarn, it is not in the house. I don't have a space inside to store so much yarn. It is in the attic, but since I'm here and all of my yarn is up there, how do I know what I have? How can I plan my knitting without seeing all of my yarns? Very easy. I have a stash catalog. I already put my newest acquisitions inside. Let me show you a close-up. Okay, I hope the plastic is not shining too much and you can actually see what I'm showing you. This for is this last hole. I just staple a sample of the yarn to the piece of white paper, and that way I can see a color really well, I can see the construction, I can touch it, I can tell if something is scratchy or not, and when I'm choosing a yarn for a project, I can remove it and I can put them together like that to judge whether they are going well together or not. So it's all very convenient, and here I have all the necessary information. I have content, if it's available. If it's not, I mark not available. If it's available, like in this case, I can see what type of fiber it is. I can see how many grams total I have of such yarn, and I can see how many meters in 100 grams of each yarn. And this number tells me in which bag should I look for this yarn. And so that way all the information is available to me right here, and I don't need to go up there and sort through all of it in order to find the suitable yarn for some project, because like right now it's minus 20 degrees outside, and in the attic is also minus 20 degrees. And that's why it is important for me to keep my yarn stash in very good order. So if I need to find some yarn, I find it in my stash catalog first, and then it will take only a minute to find it up there. So how much yarn I actually have? Right now, with this last haul together, I have 198 varieties of yarn. Is it a lot? But let me tell you, I am almost at full capacity. I started this bag number 12 and it will be the last one. I think that 222 varieties is a good neat number, and that's where I will draw the line. This will be my limit. I will not go above this number. And when I will reach 222 varieties, then I will be buying more only if I use up some of the existing stash. I think it sounds reasonable. And let me tell you a secret. I already bought 4 more things to unravel, and I already filmed them, so you can expect more videos just like that one. This is everything that I had for you this time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye!